one day when I was like 6 years old, I'm just gonna put it on. I'm like, I wanna be like my mom wearing lipstick. So I just put it all over my lips and she actually caught me. She walked into the restroom where I was at and she goes, "What is on your face? Did you put on my lipstick?" And I was like, "No." With like lipstick like from cheek to cheek.
The lipstick all over? Like, no.
No, this is my natural look.
Sorry. It's discontinued. Hi there. Welcome to my first episode of Sorry, It's Discontinued. I'm Hillary, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. This show has been something I've wanted to create for a long time, to highlight all the amazing people in the retail world and show how wonderful they are. Being a part of this industry for so long and watching all the people I care about working so hard while managing life, it's been such an inspiration. And my first episode and my first guest is no exception. Hard work and perseverance runs in her veins. Today, you're going to get to meet Jailyne. Jailyne is an incredible artist and an incredible person. She's a professional makeup artist and beauty advisor based here in Houston, Texas, with over 7 years of experience in the beauty industry. Jailyne is a proud first-generation Mexican-American born and raised in Chicago. She moved to Houston at 21 to live with her older sister, her husband, and their 3 children. Her sister is one of her biggest inspirations, a hardworking mom, an entrepreneur who created her own spicy candy brand, Tres Odositos, named after her 3 kids, whose names all start with the letter A. I mean, how sweet. Jailyne also has a brother here in Houston, and her parents, now retired, are living their best life back in Mexico, something that fills her with pride and keeps her grounded in her roots. Before she made her way to Houston, Jailyne was already building her makeup career in Chicago. She was doing glam for proms, weddings, and special events. She landed her first job in beauty at Dillard's, working with brands like YSL and Armani after she had moved to Houston. That experience opened doors to luxury retail and eventually led her to Saks Fifth Avenue, where I had the joy of meeting her. Today, she's working with Chanel Beauty at Neiman Marcus in the Houston Galleria while pursuing her business degree. And while her schedule stays full, Jailyne always makes space for what truly matters to her: her faith, her family, her boyfriend, and her chocolate lab, Dixie. She also finds joy in creating content for her YouTube channel, sharing beauty, lifestyle, and everyday moments. It's another way she gets to connect and express what she loves. She's really good at it. My favorite parts of her story is hearing about her early days in makeup and driving all across Chicago with her kid in hand. She'd show up, walk into someone's home, and just an hour she'd be part of their celebration. Those moments showed her and show us that makeup is about so much more than just the glam. It's about connection, storytelling, and making people feel seen and celebrated. I'm so excited for you to hear more of Jailyne's journey today. And her story, it's full of passion, faith, hustle, and heart. And I know it's going to inspire you just as much as she inspires me. So have a seat and let's get into it. Thank you, Jailyne. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm sorry it's discontinued.
Thank you for having me, Hillary. I'm so honored.
Oh, I'm honored. This is so cool. I knew when I wanted to start this podcast and really just, sit down with my friends and colleagues and even sometimes customers, I knew you had to be on this podcast.
Aww.
And I just really wanted to, share your story and how much you've inspired me, your artistry skills, just the way that you are genuinely with everybody and your customer service and everything about you. Just, it's motivating. And you even got me to wear lashes, which I mean, I've 26 years in this business. So I didn't even want to wear lashes because it's like putting them on and taking them off. But you'd come in rocking those lashes. I'm like, I'm going to wear some lashes.
Yes.
Jailyne's rocking these lashes.
You're like, now I
I
can't
can do
take them
this.
off.
And is there a moment that you can think back to that you really just fell in love with makeup or fashion?
Yes. So the earliest memory that I have of touching makeup is playing inside my mom's makeup bag. She used to have these Estee Lauders and Estee Lauder lipsticks, and I used to uncap them and just smell it. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the best smell ever. Or even like her powders
I
too,
know
like
exactly
her,
what you mean.
yeah, and like her pressed compact powders. They just have this kind of smell that like makeup carries. And I was so like in love with that. And one day when I was like 6 years old, I was like, I'm just gonna put it on. I'm like, I want to be like my mom wearing lipstick. So I just put it all over my lips, and she actually caught me. She walked into the restroom where I was at, and she goes, what is that on your face? Did you put on my lipstick? And I was like, no, with like lipstick like from cheek to cheek.
The lipstick all over. Like, no,
No, this is my natural look. But
I'm not doing anything.
right. But from there, my love for makeup just grew. Like I also remember like a when I started to wear makeup was when I was like in fifth or sixth grade. I was like 11 to 12 years old, and I would see all the girls in my school touching up their lip gloss or their mascara in the restroom, and I was just like looking at them, like just admiring them. It's so mesmerizing to see somebody else apply on makeup. I probably looked like a
Yeah.
creep, like just, but I went back
Pretty
home.
human,
Yeah.
the girls doing that in the bathroom.
Yes. So I went back home with that, and I told my mom, Mom, I want to wear makeup. And she goes, okay, I think you're of the age, like you're ready to wear makeup. So we went out to the store, and we ended up getting concealer, mascara, eyeliner, and lip gloss. And like those were like the four staple products that I started off with. And it was so funny. She also got me like this little Hello Kitty MAC bag. And that's where I would store my four makeup products. And I thought I was the it girl of the century. But
I love
yeah,
that.
that's kind of like the earliest memories. And from there, my makeup bag grew and grew. And it's into this whole collection that I have now.
Yeah, I'm sure your collection is incredible. With all of your artistry that you do, just on the side and the videos. And I definitely want to get into that.
Yeah.
I know that, at that age, you're just starting trying a few things here and there. And as you got older and then getting into high school and like really like probably practicing like more with your brows
Yeah.
and doing like more of a full look, full beat, and trying different kind of experimenting really
Yeah.
with colors and so on. Do you can you think back to when you were in high school, like playing around with all of those different colors? Was there a certain look that you were like really in love with that you
Yes.
would do a lot?
Yes. I feel like high school was the prime of my makeup career. Well, like it's kind of like, I
Yeah.
guess, the beginning. It was around freshman year when I started to do a wing eyeliner, but it was the most not like straight and nicest wing. It was more of a like a square, like a triangle. It was really off, but there I was, and that was my look. It was like a gold shimmery eyeshadow all over the lid, just one. And then with my little baby wing mascara, lip gloss. And this is when I started to tap into like foundation. No bronzer, blush, none of that. Just keeping it very
Just
simple.
mainly eyes.
Yeah, just mainly eyes and some lip gloss.
It's pretty ambitious too, like to do a liquid liner, at what, like 15 years old? You're like, I'm just going all in. I'm
Yes.
doing the whole,
Yes.
but
And
just for the eyes.
exactly.
All right. So you had 6 appointments that you were doing makeup after. Was this for prom or after high school?
So this was for prom, and this was on my prom date too. So it was six appointments starting from the very morning up until like I had to get ready and get dressed, do my own makeup. Yeah, so I can go take photos and enjoy my own prom. But from that moment, I think it was like,
Stressful.
yeah, it was pretty stressful. It was like everybody was waiting for me at that point, and I was like still like doing my makeup, and my mom was like helping me curl my hair because I couldn't even set up a hair appointment or anything. I was pretty like
Yeah.
selfless that day. And I
Oh,
guess that's when I realized that like, okay, I like to do makeup. And that was like
yeah.
my junior or senior prom, I can't remember, but I started to take more makeup appointments. Um, when I got into working, I didn't really work at a makeup counter or a makeup job. I was still freelancing, like at home, and I was getting like house calls. So I was traveling into the city of Chicago, to do like proms, weddings, like all by myself too, like and in neighborhoods
All
that
by
like,
yourself at what, 19 years old, just
yeah,
driving around Chicago, doing the makeup.
yeah, with my makeup bag, and I was driving my Jeep Wrangler. So it was pretty fun.
Gotta love it.
Pretty dangerous too, but I was all
Yeah.
for it. So from there,
Oh,
I just started
it's good
to,
practice.
yeah, it was really good practice. And that's where I kind of like grew my little portfolio. And I was getting like recommendations through random people. Like they were like, oh, you did my friend's makeup for this event. I loved it. She gave me her information. I have this event coming up. I would love for you to do my makeup. I'm like, okay. So it went on from there. Um,
Wow. I mean, that's a lot of courage. Because I still, even, at 49, sometimes I get nervous, going and doing makeup and, because you don't know what to expect and
yeah,
what they're going to need. And one of the biggest worries, do I have the right products? What
yeah,
if they don't have something? And making sure I have all the right colors, the right color matching.
yeah.
So,
So I
what an ambitious and courageous kiddo you were.
no, I was like, dang, I was pretty bold, and especially going by myself.
Sure.
Um, like that was pretty
It's Chicago.
courageous. Yeah, it's in Chicago, and I would even get sent to like pretty dangerous neighborhoods, and I'm like, well, that's where they live. I'm like, I have to
Making that
go. Yeah,
money.
I have to go make that money. But I would always ask them in advance, like for a picture of themselves, to see like what kind of skin tone they kind of are in and what kind of
Okay.
makeup they were looking for, like if they had any inspiration or a picture of their dress, something like that. So I knew exactly what to take and what they were looking for.
Wow.
Hmm.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So, how was that transition when you moved from Chicago to Houston? How old were you? How soon after all of that did you make that
Hmm.
move?
So I want to say I moved here in Houston when I was 20 years old. So it was pretty like right after I was freelancing and working at little jobs in Chicago. Um, so when I came, it was COVID. Like COVID had just started in
Mm,
2020. And it
okay.
kind of like held me back a little bit from working like at a store. I wanted to always work at Sephora, but I don't know, like the timing was weird of everything. And I was like, well, I can do
Yeah, they probably
exactly,
weren't hiring.
yeah. And I was like, well, I can do exactly what I was doing back at home, which was freelancing. But people were a little bit more
Mm,
cautious. So I wasn't getting a lot of bookings, and the people that were coming, was really like
yeah,
brave of them because I don't know, there wasn't a lot of people that were going out at that time. So I felt really
yeah.
like cool that they were still coming, and I was like, okay, well, I can build from this. Um and I just have,
Especially word of mouth.
yeah. So I was posting in my neighborhood, and I did have an event to go to in March of 2020 with my mom and my sister. We were going to a wedding, and we ended up hiring like a lady to do our makeup. And I just have to give her a big
Mm-hmm.
shout out because I ended up working alongside with her. When I met her, it was kind of like love at first sight. But
Oh,
yeah, she was doing makeup and hair, but we only contacted her for hair. And she was like, "Oh, y'all don't have a makeup artist, or are you gonna go get your makeup done somewhere?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a makeup artist." And we started talking, and we ended up working alongside with each other for a few months, and it was so much fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so before I started working at a counter, I was doing that, and we were everywhere around the town. We would go like start early in the morning in like Pasadena, Texas, and then travel all the way to like Rosenberg, Texas. And then we'd have like a house call in the Galleria. And it was just like an eventful day. Yeah.
Wow.
And we would
So
make,
did she have like a website that you guys did kind of joined forces and then you could, team up and like how did she get her name out there or it was from neighbors or
yeah.
what have you?
It was kind of like very similar to what I was doing. Like she was posting in neighborhood Facebook groups the way that I was doing it when I
Social
first came
media.
here. Yeah. And then social media, like just Instagram. She was posting everybody's like hair after she was done working with them or their makeup. And from there, word of mouth, like word of mouth is so big. I guess like in the makeup world when you're freelancing, and especially if you give that person like a business card, they will show it to the people, like their guests at their party, and be like, "Oh, this is the person that
Yeah.
I got my makeup done with." So it was kind of like that. Yeah, but we
Well,
would.
because you're hearing from somebody who's met you and trusts you
Mhm.
and they feel comfortable. And that makes all the difference because when you don't know someone and you just find somebody online, it could be 50-50. You don't
Yeah.
know what you're going to get. And hearing from someone that has experienced, your
Yeah.
kindness and amazing artistry.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I knew, of course, you were doing a lot of makeup, but
Mhm.
so how did that transition from partnering with her
Mhm.
and then when I met you at Saks
Mhm.
and working at Tom Ford.
Yeah.
So what was that transition like for you?
So, for us, like, we kind of went our separate routes. Like, she ended up opening up her own little makeup studio, um, which she doesn't have anymore because she ended up moving to Chicago, which was like so crazy.
So we
Yeah, it was so weird. I was like,
That's
what?
ironic.
Okay. I was like,
Okay.
say hello to
Well, you have
everybody.
somebody to contact if you ever want to move back there.
Yeah, exactly. I could work with her. But yeah,
You
so
can make up work.
right after we were, going to houses, she ended up opening up her own studio, and I was so happy for her. I even went there a couple times to help her out. But then I started to
Hmm.
branch off and do my own thing. So that's when I got my first
Yeah.
job at Dillard's working at a makeup counter. And I was
Aw.
working for YSL and Armani. I stayed there for about a year. Um, yeah, just like about a year. And that's when I started to branch off because I was like, it's like, what if I were to like, really step it in like into another like big retailer or
Uh-huh.
another luxury brand? And that's when I found like the job opening for Tom Ford and Saks. And
How did you find that? Was that through like the job search engines, like your Monster or Indeed, or
yeah,
was that word of
you know
or
what?
connecting with somebody?
It was actually like, it wasn't supposed to happen. I just remembered that I was actually applying for Charlotte Tilbury um, in Saks, and this was before they opened up their grand opening of the boutique. Um,
Right.
so I think I had seen it like online or somebody had told me about it, and that's when I applied for it. And when I had a phone interview, um, they
Mm-hmm.
were asking me if I wanted to work at Sephora. And I was like, wait, I thought I was applying for Charlotte Tilbury. I was so confused. It was a miscommunication. Um, but
Right.
she ended up handing me over like to the right people. Um, and that's when I got into contact with one of
Yeah.
the department managers at Saks. And she had told
Nice.
me that the position had been filled for Charlotte Tilbury, but that there was other positions open.
Other
So
openings.
yeah, so
Wow.
I feel like it was
And that's
meant
when
to
I met
be.
you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know. I was so nervous.
No. Oh. I still remember when you were walking around and being introduced, and I just you just had this big smile, and it was so great. We had so much
Oh my
fun. I just
God.
love working with
Yeah,
you.
we had so much fun.
Um, so I want to get into your journey took you to Saks, and when we
Mhm.
met, and then I know, there we did a lot of um, big events, highlighting launches. And, at the time too, we weren't really focusing a lot on skincare, but it was more on the artistry and, of course, fragrance.
Mhm.
And we had that huge master class. I know we learned a lot there. And then transitioning from that line to now where you're in a different luxury store at a
Mhm.
different for a different luxury brand.
Mhm.
And you know the change as you've been growing into higher pressure, bigger goals,
Mhm.
especially right now, the brand that you're working for. I mean, you deal with more clients.
Mhm.
I think that also, you could have a pop in at any time from one of your
Oh
bosses,
yeah.
and they're watching and critiquing, your
Yeah.
storytelling, your product explanations, knowing notes and ingredients.
Mhm.
So I'm really kind of wanting to hear from you is how you have transitioned. I've been using that word a lot, but going into this brand
Mhm.
and still keeping up with that positivity and your creativity, and how do you navigate that with such a higher pressure position,
Mhm.
now?
Um, so it's so funny that you asked me because I feel like I'm kind of like rediscovering how to remain positive in like a high pressure workplace, and
Yeah.
just kind of like giving myself those small reminders throughout the day. Like, Jailyne, you're doing your best. Like, this is the best that you can give them. And whatever it is, they will take it. They will appreciate it. And it's
Mhm.
only their job to like keep you focused and aligned with your goals, and just giving you those reminders. Hey, like, just remember, like, this is your sales goal. But also have fun with it. So I feel like I've been kind of like telling myself, like, let them remind me, and also let me remind myself that this is fun. And it was kind of
Uh-huh.
funny because
Love that.
yesterday I was like, okay, you know what? Like, we're going to remain positive today. Like, we're just going to go with the flow and have fun with it, because I feel like that really, like, draws that positive energy, and people want to come up to you, because I feel like if you're counter stressed, you're
Mhm.
stressed, everybody is stressed and on edge for not making goals. I feel like it almost
Yeah,
radiates like this kind of stressful energy. And that's,
it does.
yeah, and those are the days where you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, I haven't sold a single thing, like not even like a
Mhm.
pencil, like, so I feel like it really like helps to just like remain positive. And I know it's so easy to say than to actually do, but just kind of like reminding ourselves that like we're doing the best that we can. And
Yeah, to be your own cheerleader,
yeah,
and partnering with your team and your work family,
yeah,
that those are the people that can help inspire and uplift, when you're struggling, or vice versa.
exactly.
Especially when you have a tough day, a big goal,
Yeah,
just like, hey, you got this, or what an amazing job.
yeah,
I admire that about you. It's
yeah,
just being your own cheerleader.
yeah.
You're good at that.
Yeah, and I try not to get like so like stuffy in my head. I'm like, there's no reason to be, because, we're already doing it. We're here and we're gonna like bring it on, you know? But I also been listening
Yes.
to the audiobook of The Let Them Theory, and that's been really helping me.
Mel Robbins, right?
Yeah, from Mel Robbins, and that's been really
Yeah.
helping me like kind of get through my days.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's funny because I'm listening to the Eckhart Tolle book.
Hmm.
It's like the New Worlds or Purpose something life. I'm butchering that, but
Hmm.
where it's, your our thoughts can be so disheartening,
Hmm.
disarming, and toxic. And it's
Yeah.
like getting into that mindset
Yeah.
and it's transitioning that thinking. Like what you're doing
Hmm.
is you've got this.
Yeah.
Stop overthinking
Yeah.
this. It's just a lipstick,
Yeah.
but this lipstick can be powerful and color and let's play.
Yes.
And then going into being, kind of childlike and exploring
Yes.
and playing with color.
Yeah, just being very passionate about like the products that you're also selling and the stories behind it and how it makes other people feel and how it makes them like
Mhm.
connect to it.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
It can really feel, it can be powerful,
Hmm.
um, and really inspire, our clients and customers and each other. And I
Yes.
I do wish that brands and stores would let us play more.
Hmm.
I am such an advocate of playing and touching and feeling and like
Yes.
what we experience in those educational seminars or trainings
Yes.
from the brand.
Hmm.
Because you take that back and then that excitement, it's transferred to the clients and they get
Yes.
inspired. So
Yes. Definitely. Like I mean, I'll still touch up my eyeshadow or a little bit of blush. I'm like, it doesn't hurt. I'm like, how else would I know? I have to sell this.
I know. Yeah, I would go to work without having some shadow on and just
Hmm.
kind of sneak it in or,
Yeah.
I do have a little PTSD, I think, from working for stores before and the store manager, where our counter was in the escalator. They come down and they spot, they see me
They're
messing
just
around. And of course they come over and say something.
hmm.
Like, that's what I'm supposed to do is play with the brand
Yeah.
and know about the products. So I I love your creativity and a lot of your artistry skills. I mean, you showcase a lot of this on your TikTok or Instagram. And I think this, not to speak for you, but this is one of the things that you find passion and fun in when you're able to be creative. I
Yes.
mean, to what we were just talking about
Hmm.
and your videos, when you have these videos and create these different looks, like even that one, what was it? The Bride of Chucky.
Yeah.
When you did that a year or a few years ago, I just was
Yeah.
blown away. I watched it like over and over. It's like, wow, how did she do that? So do you have fun like doing that? And like what are some of the creative aspects of that? I mean, is that part of your way of taking care of yourself, your mental health is finding
Yeah.
yourself wanting to play, create looks and videos?
Yeah. Because I feel like once I started to step into color, that was kind of like my escape. It was more when I first initially moved to Houston. Um, it was during COVID time. I was new to the city. I didn't really have any friends. So I started to like look at all my makeup and I'm like, I have so much colorful eyeshadows that I don't really touch. Like, I just go into the same browns, the same golds. I'm like, what can I do like
Yeah.
with this? So,
I know of all these palettes, like the James Charles palette or what, those mini palettes and everybody
yeah.
was collecting all these colors.
I
Like,
have
what do
them
I
all.
do?
Yes.
I
And
bet you do.
and some of them they were just sitting there collecting dust and I'm like, I have to do something. So, I was like, okay, let's, see pictures, inspiration from other people and kind of see what I pick up from there. But it's like, I don't know, it leads me to a whole different world. I feel like color really does have an effect on people. Like of course,
Mhm.
like makeup, like sultry makeup, like the browns and the soft glams are so beautiful. But when you create something with
Yeah,
color, it's like art. Like you're looking at it like I'm like, wow, like I actually did that on myself. Like that is so cool. Like I'm capable
it is cool.
of doing that. And I don't know, like it really like I guess it's my form of entertainment, but also like form of
Mhm.
expression. Um, and I always have fun with it. Like if I want to like just sit down and like I have my creative juices coming in and I'm like, okay, I need to do something like to release this. But yeah, I wish
Yes.
I had more time with it because that's the other thing that it does take up a little bit more time than like a regular makeup look. Um,
Yeah.
so you really have to have like the patience for it.
How long does it take you when you create a video like that from the application of the look
Hmm.
to filming the video?
It can
It's probably
take,
gotten a little bit easier, but
yeah. I mean, it can take like a few hours depending like what look you're going for. Like
yeah.
the Bride of Chucky, like for example, that one probably took me like at least like 4 hours because from like filming everything, like, you know, setting up the phone, um, also learning the audio, like that was the other thing, like making sure that I was lip syncing whatever the audio was saying. And then like I had to glue down my eyebrows. So that was the first time I did something like that, was glue down my eyebrows and like make
I've
them,
never done that.
yeah,
That's
like
amazing.
drag queens, like they will go ahead
Yes.
and glue them down with the Elmer's glue. Um,
Yep.
and it's a bunch of layers of powder, foundation, and also color correcting because my eyebrows are black. So
Mm.
then like creating the rest of the makeup look and applying on the wig, I'm like, I have no idea. And I actually had to like trim the wig and like blend it a little bit. But it
It's
was,
amazing.
yeah, it was pretty
Have you ever
fun.
seen that show? There's a show on Netflix called Glow Up.
Yes.
It's so good. I love it. I mean, I
Yes.
just, of course, watching Drag Race or like Trixie and Katya, and there's
Yes.
a, a YouTube or their podcast where they, or maybe it's just the YouTube channel, they watch the videos
Hmm.
of when Trixie was on Glow Up and
Uh-huh.
they kind of mess with the makeup, but it's they're so good. They're so inspiring. And then the
Yes.
Glow Up, I learned so much from that show. And so I love that it just goes back to your courage
Mhm.
and inspiration and
Oh,
creativity
yeah.
that you have, you know,
Yes.
to do something like that. Um, okay, so I know we just have a little bit of time left. I do want to talk about, you know, what advice you would have for someone kind of getting into this business. Anybody who's in artistry or loves makeup. Like, is there like one thing that you wish, or a couple things that you wish somebody would have told you?
Hmm.
Kind of getting into this?
Yes. Um, Definitely. I feel like never losing that passion for makeup because I feel like coming in as a makeup artist into the retail world, like you kind of lose a little bit of that like makeup passion because at the end of the day, what these retailers are looking for is numbers. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it kind of like draws you away from playing with makeup and like the beauty behind it. So I feel like, you
Mhm.
know, just staying on top of the makeup trends and, you
Yeah.
know, continue to play with
Allowing
it.
yourself to play.
Yes, because
Yeah.
it's so much fun. And I feel like when you tap into, you know, remaining in that beauty side, like you get to have fun with it. And I feel like that's where I kind of like always try to remain in. I'm like, okay, I'm not too focused on how much money I have and how many sales I have in. I just want to like play with makeup and show them like what is it that I've been loving or what is it that the girls online have been loving. And yeah, and just introduce it to them and have fun with it.
I
And
love that,
yeah,
Jailyne. That's awesome.
yeah, because I feel like
And it kind of goes into my next thing.
Mhm.
Is there anything that was discontinued that you loved, and did you find something that might have replaced it or come close? 'Cause we all have it, you know. I'm wearing
Yes.
Paper Doll from the Tom Ford. I just love
Yes, such a good
there's
color.
quite a few, and then we try to find
Yes.
the replacement.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite lipstick, I have two of them that were discontinued. One of them being Tom Ford. I think it was in that same year that they released these nude lipsticks. It was called Deep Mink. Tom Ford.
Yes.
Yes. Ah, such a good color. I have not found a replacement. Um, and I had a full size of it, but I ended up giving it away to somebody who also fell in love with it during a makeup appointment. Don't know why
You're
I
so
did.
nice.
I know. I'm like, I need to stop being nice
Oh,
because after I did that, that's when I realized, oh shoot, I can't rebuy this.
you
I
can't
thought
find that
I
anymore.
thought I could, but no. And another one is Dior Rouge. I think it was 449 Desante. It was like this beautiful nudie, pinky, like it was just that perfect nude.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, but last year they
Oh.
discontinued it, and I was like, hold on, no. I was like, you need to go find something over there.
I know. They discontinued a lip gloss that I loved too. That was like a nude like that, kind of like that pale beige, kind of like the
Mhm.
Charlotte Tilbury, the KK
Yes.
Kim, I think,
Yes.
lipstick, but it was in a gloss and
Oh,
almost a little bit more pink. It was so
yes.
good.
And I have all of those nudes,
Oh,
but they don't compare.
they don't. They need to bring them all back.
They
I
do.
mean, the Tom Ford, the Dior, even like some of the Bobbi Browns, even Chanel, some of theirs. I don't
Yes.
know. There's just so many nudes. If they go back in time, pull up some of those recipes,
Yes.
they would be making so much money.
Money.
Clients, customers, us, we just love those nudes, you
Yes.
know?
We need our
And
nudes.
pinks. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, let's not even tap into the pinks.
I know the pinks and the nudes. I am so thankful that you did this with me for the second time. So, and I appreciate your patience with
Oh,
like the tech stuff. I know people are going to want to find you, and especially you, and then even with your sister too and her amazingness on
yes.
TikTok. So I'm going to add and make sure that I have your like link and info on my page and through Buzzsprout with the episodes and so on. So I can't thank you enough for doing this with me and being on
Oh,
Sorry It's Discontinued, and I love you
thank
so much.
you. Yes, thank you for
Yeah, and
having me.
enjoy your day, okay? Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Sorry It's Discontinued. If you love hearing the real voices from behind the counter, be sure to follow the show, leave a review, or share this episode with another fan of fashion, fragrance, anything retail. If you've got a story to tell or an idea for a future episode, I'd love to hear from you. Just head to sorryitsdiscontinued.com. Send me a message. This podcast is independently produced and not affiliated with or sponsored by any brands or companies or retail stores mentioned. All stories and opinions are personal and reflect the views of the individual speaking. We speak honestly, but this space is meant to be respectful of the brands, stores, and careers we've all worked really hard for. This show is about connection, the challenges of working in this industry, but also the inspiration we get from each other. So next time, thank you for being here. And remember, A smile can brighten someone's day, whether you're behind the counter or in front of it. I can't wait to have a seat with you next time. So until next time, thank you for being here. And remember, a smile can brighten someone's day, whether you're behind the counter or in front of it. I can't wait to have a seat with you the next episode. Bye. Sorry. It's discontinued.